Hi, I'm Dave Hilowitz. So today we're going to talk about a class of instruments that basically nobody ever talks about, and that is fretless zithers. So here's the backstory. In the late 19th century, early 20th century, there was kind of like this craze for this kind of instrument that was basically like a tabletop harp. And they had all kinds of names, zither, fretless zither. The auto harp is basically a variation on that. And what all of these have in common is they're basically like little mini pianos. They've got a sounding board and a bunch of strings that go across the top. But instead of having keys and hammers, you play it with like a little pick, like a guitar pick. Anyway, in about 1915, 1920, I can't remember exactly when, this guy named Charles Marx, he was kind of like an inventor and a tinkerer, and he got this idea. What if you took this instrument that's basically like a little MIDI piano and you added keys and hammers? And I know what you're thinking. That instrument already exists. It's called the piano. But for some reason that didn't deter him. And what he came up with was this instrument called the Marxophone. The instrument we're going to be focusing on today is called a Mandolin Guitarophone. It's basically the exact same thing as this Marxophone. They couldn't use the name Marxophone because they hadn't bought the rights from Charles Marx. So they changed it very slightly. What makes it a Mandolin Guitarophone is it has two strings instead of one string for each note. And those two strings are supposed to give it that kind of like slightly warbly quality that mandolins have. I don't exactly buy it, but that's what they did to get around the copyright requirements. So yeah, that's the instrument I've been working on. Here's the Kontakt version of the instrument. It's pretty straightforward. There's a classic hammers patch in which I hit the keys and the hammers come down. This is sampled with 4 round robins, by the way. You have reverb control and standard ADSR knobs. Then there's the pick version. To make this, I plucked the instrument with a guitar pick. This is again sampled with 4 round robins, and it has the same controls. Then there's something called pick Unison. This is all of the pick samples, but being played at the same time. But it's also tied to velocity. If you play really softly, you just get one sample at a time, but the louder you play, the more samples get triggered. Finally, there are 3 swarm patches. The first one is the same as the hammers patch, but it loops. The second swarm patch is much denser with 15 pitch bent samples per note. And finally, the third swarm patch is a consummate media composer pad. It's been processed a ton, although it does still retain a bit of the original character of the instrument. So yeah, that's it. These patches are available for both Kontakt and SFZ, and they're completely free. Enjoy!